The bronze object lay half buried in volcanic ash, a thumb's width of hinge protruding like a secret. The archaeologist brushed away centuries, and the joint moved. Smooth. Perfect. She froze. Then whispered, "This can't be original. Someone planted it." But volcanic ash doesn't lie, he sealed since 79 AD. In 2019, a Roman-era dig revealed surgical tools so precisely engineered that modern orthopedic surgeons stopped in their tracks. One hand-sized clamp moved with tolerances today's engineers call astonishing. It wasn't just preserved, it was still functional. This bronze relic was crafted with a geometric precision we believed only 21st century machines could achieve. You can almost smell the scene: copper tang, old blood, the faint sweetness of wine used for cleaning. Disbelief spread quickly. How could a tool from an empire that collapsed 2 millennia ago outperform our own designs? Before we go further, do you believe humans were ever more medically advanced than we are today? A. Yes. B. No. C. Only in certain areas. Vote below. But to understand how they built it, we need to see where they used it. They weren't doctors, they were field mechanics of the human body. When archaeologists uncovered the bronze clamp near Pompeii, they confirmed it was surgical, until the site map said otherwise. It wasn't found in a hospital. It was buried inside a weapons forge. Why would surgeons and blacksmiths share the same fire? Carbon dating placed the tool around 70 AD, 9 years before Vesuvius buried the city. Inside the hinge, scientists found hardened collagen and mineralized iron, not blood, not bone, but something like muscle fiber fused with metal. That changed everything. The clamp wasn't just surgical, it was an implant driver, designed to fasten living tissue to engineered parts. A device for driving and securing biometallic components into the body. If this artifact is what historians now suspect, Roman engineers weren't merely treating wounds. They were experimenting with early forms of biomechanical cybernetics nearly 2,000 years ago. Records from Galen and Celsus describe metallic frameworks used to stabilize damaged limbs. Scholars called it metaphor. But this relic suggests they meant something far more literal: internal mechanical integration. They weren't just patching bodies, they were rebuilding them. And the precision that made it possible? That's what we're about to uncover. The artifact baffled modern engineers, until they cut it open. Inside the bronze casing was a hollow spiral, finely threaded and perfectly balanced. Its geometry wasn't random, it matched the Fibonacci sequence found in human bone growth. Researchers at a leading biomechanics lab fed the scans into CAD software, and the program refused to optimize it. Every redesign ran worse than the original. The Roman mechanism already operated at peak mechanical harmony. The lead engineer was skeptical. He said, "A design this perfect shouldn't exist without computation." But the data didn't lie. The tool didn't rely on brute force geometry, it obeyed natural law. It wasn't just precision, it was biomimicry. The tool mirrored the body's own architecture, guiding bone to regrow along engineered paths, a surgical implant that taught nature how to heal itself. Dozens of similar tools may still sit in museum vaults, mislabeled as decorative metalwork. Their rediscovery has already inspired a new wave of orthopedic research: titanium devices that grow with you instead of wearing out. How did ancient engineers achieve a design even supercomputers can't surpass? It's the ultimate clash of human intuition versus machine data. But perhaps the greater mystery is this: why was that knowledge systematically dismantled? Zoom into glowing artifact core, fade to black. Not long after the Roman healing spiral was documented, the trail goes silent. By the 3rd century, every reference vanishes, not gradually, but deliberately. Records suggest imperial decrees restricted surgical practices, forbidding unnatural augmentation of flesh. Archaeologists have reported discovering a cache of bronze fragments sealed beneath a temple floor, as if someone tried to hide the evidence. If the device truly accelerated healing, it blurred the line between divine miracle and human invention, a threat to both empire and faith. Some historians theorize the knowledge fled east, merging into early surgical traditions of Persia and India. Others suspect the opposite: It was buried precisely because it worked too well, and a civilization built on conquest couldn't risk making soldiers harder to kill. Today, echoes of the design reappear in patents for bioadaptive implants and regenerative scaffolds, ideas resurrecting themselves through time. But there's one last clue, a symbol etched on the interior, hidden from everyone except the craftsman who forged it. A maker's mark, or perhaps something else. It might reveal who built it first, and whether they truly understood what they'd created. The ultimate clash of human intuition versus machine data continues, not in laboratories or museums, but in the unanswered questions of history. And that unanswered question leads directly to the next mystery. The symbol's meaning may never be decoded. But that's not the real mystery. The real mystery is this: if Roman engineers could design something modern computers can't improve, what else have we dismissed as primitive simply because it's old? History is full of these reversals. Medieval architects built cathedrals that modern engineers can't replicate without computer modeling. Ancient Roman concrete self-heals in seawater, ours crumbles in decades. Damascus steel, its forging technique lost, remains sharper than any modern alloy. We call this lost knowledge. But maybe it was never lost. Maybe we just stopped looking, convinced that newer equals better. The bronze tool didn't resurface because someone went looking for ancient wisdom. It resurfaced because a volcano buried it, preserving it from the very people who tried to erase it. Nature saved what humans destroyed. Knowledge doesn't disappear. It hibernates. And it wakes up when we're desperate enough, or humble enough, to admit we never knew everything in the first place. Where does breakthrough innovation come from? A. Discovering something new. B. Rediscovering something old. C. Both. Vote below. The Roman tool wasn't ahead of its time. That's the wrong way to think about it. It was of its time. Engineers didn't have computers, so they relied on observation, patience with materials, and the humility to let designs emerge rather than force them. We lost that when we gained computation. We traded intuition for algorithms. Deep understanding for rapid iteration. And we called it progress. Progress isn't accumulation. It's refinement. Sometimes refinement means stripping away everything we thought we needed, until we rediscover what was essential all along. The symbol inside the bronze? Maybe it isn't a maker's mark. Maybe it's a reminder, this knowledge has always existed. You just forgot where to look. The breakthrough you're waiting for might not require new technology. It might require old wisdom, the kind you've dismissed because it came from a time before screens, data, and the illusion that newer automatically means better. The Romans aren't teaching us to look backward. They're teaching us to look inward. Innovation has always been there. Waiting. Hibernating. You just have to remember.